Welcome to Avatar Academy, where learning English becomes easy and fun. I'm Emily, and with me today is my friend Mohammed.
Hey everyone! I'm so happy you're here with us again.
Today's episode is really special because we're going to talk about something that changes everything in your English journey: how to think in English naturally. If you're one of those learners who always translate every word before speaking, this episode is for you. You know that feeling when you want to say something, but your brain takes too long because it's translating from your native language? It's frustrating, right? Well, we're going to help you fix that today. By the end of this episode, you'll know how to train your brain to think directly in English, without stress, without translation, and without fear.
That's true. Thinking in English really makes everything easier. Speaking, listening, and even writing.
Exactly. There's actually a study from Cambridge University that showed learners who practiced thinking directly in English spoke up to 40% faster than those who translated every word. That's a huge difference. When your brain stops translating, your ideas flow more naturally. You don't have to stop and think about grammar rules or search for words. You just express yourself. And that's what fluency really means: being able to share your thoughts clearly and confidently.
Yeah, because when you translate, it's like doing double work.
Right. Imagine you're trying to speak, but your brain first builds the sentence in your own language and then tries to rebuild it in English. That's a lot of work. And sometimes the translation doesn't even sound right. For example, in some languages, people say, "I have cold," instead of "I am cold." It sounds funny in English, doesn't it? Thinking in English helps you avoid that problem completely. It teaches your brain to form sentences naturally, just like a native speaker does.
So, how can we actually train our brains to think in English?
That's the big question. First, we need to stop doing the things that slow us down. Many learners don't realize they make small mistakes that block their progress. One of the biggest mistakes is translating everything in your head. You have to trust your brain. Let it build sentences in English, even if they're not perfect. Another mistake is focusing too much on grammar. Of course, grammar is important, but if you keep checking every single rule before you speak, you'll never feel natural. Native speakers don't think about grammar while talking. They just talk. They make small mistakes too, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, and many students also worry too much about mistakes.
Exactly. That's another big problem: fear of being wrong. Some people are so afraid of making mistakes that they stop speaking at all. But you know what? Mistakes are part of learning. Every time you make one, your brain learns something new. Fluency comes from practice, not perfection. And finally, another thing that stops learners is not being surrounded by enough English. If your daily life is full of your native language, your brain will always return to it. But when you fill your world with English, like listening to podcasts, watching short videos, reading posts, your brain starts to think in English naturally.
That's very true. The more English you hear, the more it stays in your head.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about what you can actually do every day. One easy thing you can start right now is naming things around you in English. Look around your room and say the names quietly to yourself. Window, chair, desk, phone. Then try to make a small phrase, like, I'm holding my phone, or the window is open. This simple habit teaches your brain to connect daily life with English. There's even a study that shows labeling objects in a second language helps the brain build faster connections.
That's a nice trick.
It is. Another thing you can do is talk to yourself in English. I know it sounds strange, but it really works. You can do it anywhere, while cooking, getting dressed, walking outside. Just describe what you're doing. I'm washing the dishes. I'm putting on my shoes. You're not performing, you're just practicing. The more you do this, the more automatic English becomes in your mind. And here's another tip that changes everything. Use an English to English dictionary. When you search for a word, don't translate it into your language. Read the English explanation instead. For example, if you look up the word excited and it says feeling very happy and eager, your brain connects meaning with English words only. That's real progress.
And maybe start with simple sentences before trying complicated ones.
Exactly. Don't pressure yourself. Start small. You don't need to think in long, perfect sentences. Begin with short ideas like, I need coffee, I'm tired, or I'm studying. When that feels easy, your sentences will grow naturally. Over time, you'll notice your thoughts are already in English before you even realize it. Another powerful thing you can do is develop an English inner voice. That means talking to yourself inside your mind, not out loud. For example, if you're planning your day, think, what should I do first? Maybe I'll start with breakfast. Or if you're walking outside, think, the weather feels nice today. It's like having a small English conversation in your head. That's how you train your brain to stay in English mode all day.
That sounds fun. It's like making English part of your thinking life.
Exactly. And that's the goal, to make English your second nature. You can also surround yourself with English as much as possible. Listen to podcasts, watch English videos, read short articles. The more you hear and see English, the faster your brain accepts it as normal. One student told me that after listening to English podcasts for 1 month, she started dreaming in English. That's a great sign that your brain is switching languages naturally.
But how can learners make this a daily habit?
Good question. The key is small daily actions. For example, when you wake up in the morning, try to think in English first thing. Say in your mind, today is Monday. I have a meeting at 10. At night, before you sleep, review your day in English. I worked hard today. I met my friends. I feel tired. This helps your brain start and end the day in English. You can also challenge yourself with a no translation rule. For 30 minutes each day, decide that you will think only in English. Even if you forget a word, don't translate. Just explain it. If you can't remember refrigerator, say, the cold box where I keep food. That's real English thinking.
And maybe they can talk to themselves out loud sometimes too.
Yes, that's another great practice. Talk to yourself out loud for a few minutes each day. Describe what's happening. I'm making tea. It smells nice. I'm reading a book. This keeps English active in your mouth, not only in your head. And if you want to go further, start writing a small English journal. Write 3 or 4 sentences about your day. Don't worry about grammar. Just express your thoughts in English. That's how you train your brain to use English naturally. Of course, it's not always easy. Some days you'll feel tired or stuck. Sometimes your brain will switch back to your language, and that's completely normal. Be patient. There's a study from the University of Chicago showing that it takes about 66 days to build a new mental habit. So don't expect to change overnight. But if you stay consistent, English thinking will become automatic.
And if they don't know a word, they can describe it in English, right?
Exactly. Don't stop just because you don't know one word. Find another way to say it. If you forget umbrella, say, the thing I use when it rains. That's how you train flexibility. And if you ever feel like you're not improving, record yourself. Speak for 1 minute about your day. Do it again after a few weeks and compare. You'll be surprised how much better you sound. Thinking in English is not about talent. It's about habit, patience, and practice. Every time you listen, read, or talk in English, your brain gets stronger. Even 5 minutes a day makes a difference.
Yeah, small steps make big changes.
Exactly. And remember, fluency is not about perfection. Even native speakers make mistakes. The goal is to communicate, not to be perfect. Celebrate your progress, even the small wins. If you find yourself thinking in English without trying, that's a big success.
That's a good point.
And finally, don't forget to enjoy the process. The more you enjoy learning, the faster you improve. Watch things you love. Listen to music you like. Talk about topics that interest you. Make English part of your real life, not just your study time.
So, what's one thing our listeners can start doing today?
Good question. I'd say start with naming things around you in English and stop translating for at least 30 minutes a day. These 2 habits alone will start changing the way you think.
That's simple and powerful.
It is. And remember, we're all learning together. So tell us which technique you'll try first. Leave a comment, share your progress, and don't forget to subscribe to Avatar Academy for more episodes like this.
Keep practicing. Keep thinking in English. And keep improving every day.
Yes, you're doing amazing. Stay consistent, stay confident, and soon English will feel like your second nature. Until next time, happy learning, everyone!